Good afternoon, everybody. Greg Pruitt here with the Idaho Dispatch, and today is August 30th, 2021, and this is the 10th episode of the recap where we just kind of briefly uh, go over some of the articles that we have recently released. And sometimes what we try to do is give you more details that we don't necessarily or aren't able to add into the articles, and then just to kind of cover briefly some of what we have put out there and allow you guys to try and ask some questions about some of the articles, and maybe there's some additional details that we missed or didn't have a chance to get in. And so as things are kind of getting settled down, we just made a move over to Eastern Idaho, and so I want to try to get to do these videos more frequently, as well as get you guys some other additional content and details through video, which tends to be a lot more interactive. And so if you guys have any questions while we are live, please let me know. I'm going to try to pull up the feed here so we are ready to go. And looks like we're going to cover about 4 articles. Sometimes the recap can go a little long, sometimes it's a little short, but either way, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate all of our supporters. If you're not already, we would encourage you to be a subscriber to the Idaho Dispatch. It's $2.97 a month or more. You can do more, obviously, and support us in that effort. The feedback we've gotten from you guys has been tremendous, and it's amazing how much I guess information we get back where people who don't necessarily agree maybe with me politically, which I don't ever put into the dispatch. That has always been my goal, and how news should be is that whatever I do personally outside of the Idaho Dispatch is my own thing and my own business. But when it comes to reporting the news, it should just be here's what one side says, here's what one side says, here's all the facts that we can provide you, right? And that's it. That's literally all the news is supposed to be. It's not me putting my personal opinions inside the articles. You'll notice I don't even put op eds on the Idaho Dispatch by me. Okay, there are op eds that you guys, the readers, will submit because you want to speak out on an issue, and that's fine. Um, but you'll notice in the news articles, we try to leave out all of the bias that we can. Nobody's perfect. I'm not saying that we're perfect, but we try to leave it all out the best that we can. And in addition, I don't ever put my own op-eds on there opining on some issue. And you'll notice all of the mainstream media does that, right? If you go to any of the mainstream media outlets, in the newspaper ones in particular, the TV ones aren't. They really don't do that nearly as much as most of the newspapers. All the editorial boards, they put out almost weekly op-eds targeting some issue. And to me, I just don't like that. We've never liked that. And so that's why at the Idaho Dispatch, we don't do that. There will be op-eds. Again, they are from the readers, not from us opining on some issue. Again, you may be able to find my opinion on an issue out on other social media places and stuff. And that's, I'm a human being. I have my own opinions. I have my own biases on particular issues. But I write a lot about issues that I'm like, oh, I really don't like this. I don't agree with this. But you know what? It's not about me, right? It's about here's what this side says. Here's what this side says. Here's all the content and evidence that we can provide in the middle, whether that's text messages, emails, videos, whatever the case may be. And one of the biggest things we do at the Idaho Dispatch, and this is kind of leading into the first article, is we try to give, especially sides where the media has deliberately left out one side, and we try to go out and say, hey, wait a minute here, this is not fair. Let's give both sides an opportunity. You've been attacked, so we'll go to somebody and say, you've been attacked by the media. This is the accusations against you by the media or by other groups, and the media only covered really one side. What is your side of the story? How do you respond to this criticism? And that's been one of our goals as well. So again, we love the feedback. The support that you guys have shown us has been absolutely tremendous, and I hope that is worth $2.97 a month, right? I hope that is worth that, because right now I do all the work. Ideally, we need to get this thing to a point where we can hire some editors. Okay, I'm not going to claim to be the best writer in the world or the best editor in the world. My goal is to try and share this content and give Idahoans news that they can go to, where that we are doing everything we can to leave out all the bias and all of that stuff that everybody hates about the mainstream media. Okay, so one of the articles that we wanted to go back and cover. We're not going to go back too far. The last 10 days or so. Is a big story. This is still an ongoing story with Dr. Ryan Cole. Dr. Ryan Cole, as many of you know or may not know, is the a doctor who has been nominated by the Ada County commissioners to serve on this Central District Health Board, and there's been a lot of discussion about Dr. Cole and whether he's qualified or not qualified, or if his ideas and beliefs are outside of what should be appropriate for the board. And so you've got on one side groups like the Idaho 97% and others who are pushing to not have Dr. Cole nominated. And then you have groups on the other side like Health Freedom Idaho that are pushing to have him nominated onto the Central District Health Board. And so he was attacked quite a bit in the media over a variety of issues. And one of those issues was that he makes money off of doing COVID testing. So Dr. Cole owns Cole Diagnostics, and so when the whole pandemic began and they were trying to get COVID testing, he told Idaho Dispatch through some communication back and forth that he had spent about $2 million risking, in his words, personal bankruptcy in order to set up the COVID testing to help out with doing all of that. And so he said they spent about $2 million, and he got somewhere in the range of about $500,000 in CARES Act money. Is about the estimation of some of the money that he got back through that. And then he also charges money to do the testing, and he said that they're almost to the point where they've broke even with all the testing and paying off all of the equipment and everything that they had to spend to get that testing set up. And so we asked Dr. Cole about all of that, and he responded. And there was a reporter, I believe it was Audrey Dutton. I think that's her name, with Idaho Capital Sun. Anyway, she had screenshotted part of our article, and so we haven't actually written an article about this, but it was a response to this. So if you're watching this, you'll be the only ones that know about this right now. Because I don't know if we're going to do another article responding to what she said. But anyway, she had screenshotted it and basically said that he was lying because he. So in our article, I guess I should clarify in here. Maybe I'll just read you the part that she is talking about. Um, so I'm going to quote, in addition, Cole said that he received no grants as universities and hospitals did, but did receive some state CARES funds to offset some of the costs. And so, maybe this is on me as a writer. Maybe I thought it was obvious on my end, and I interpreted what he said. What Dr. Cole was trying to say, again, because in this paragraph he says he spent $2 million. He got some money to pay it back, but he didn't get grants like the colleges and universities did. And what he had intended to say, and the way that I read it and never really interpreted it another way, was that some universities and colleges got millions and millions of dollars. I think the University of Massachusetts got $100 million in research money to help do stuff. Okay, Boise State University got $3 million, and I don't know what all that was for, but there were people who got millions and millions of dollars in grants, and he got 500,000, which he reiterated to me he was very grateful for. But what he was trying to get across was that he didn't, he didn't immediately get all the money he needed to cover his costs, and then he's just been making money on these tests. He got about a quarter of the costs returned through grants, and then through the testing cost, he's almost broken even. And again, I thought that was clear from the paragraph, but this reporter said that he was lying because he got CARES money, and again, he wasn't saying that he didn't get CARES money. He's just saying that he didn't get, some huge, massive chunk like the colleges and universities did. And so you guys let me know in the comments. I mean, if you read that article and you read that full paragraph, would you interpret it the way that we did, or did we not write that clearly enough? And certainly that's always a possibility that we could have written that more clearly. So you guys let us know what you think in the comments. And so he is up for. He's also been called anti-vax, and he wanted to make sure that people knew he was not anti-vax. He said he's had he was in the military. He had a bunch of vaccines. He's had his childhood vaccines. All of his family have had their childhood vaccines. And he said that his adult daughter was the only one in their family who does not live with them, made her choice to get the COVID shots. And so he wanted to make sure that he had an opportunity to clear that up. And so that's the kind of stuff that, again, if people are being criticized, whether I agree or don't agree with them personally, I believe everybody should have the right to address those criticisms, and provide whatever evidence and facts that they have to back up what they are saying. So that was the story about Dr. Cole. I believe the vote on this is on Tuesday, tomorrow. I believe Elmore County is the last county that has to vote, and from my recollection, he would need one of the three commissioners to vote to confirm him as the newest, as the doctor to serve on the Central District Health Board. Um, and so I actually just did an interview with him. So if you're watching this, you're going to hear this first. I did an interview with Dr. Cole on, or excuse me, today, about 2 hours ago, 2.5, 3 hours ago, about the topic of ivermectin. That is another big topic. That's another thing that he's been attacked quite a bit for, because he believes that ivermectin can be helpful in fighting COVID. And if you open up Google and type in ivermectin, you're going to see a whole bunch of articles about horse dewormer and lots of stuff. And so, again, we wanted him to have the opportunity to explain why he believes ivermectin is good, and talk about the drug itself. Okay, and so that interview, we just recorded it. I don't think I have to do any editing other than some stuff at the beginning and the end that I have to chop off, but we'll have that interview out this week. However, YouTube will not let us put that video that talks about ivermectin on their platform. Okay, YouTube has a very specific policy. We're actually going to put that in the news article that we write about the interview. I can't remember. You can't talk about ivermectin. You can't talk about hydroxychloroquine. You can't talk about prayer as a means of fighting COVID. There's some other ones in here, and I'll do a screenshot of that and show that to you guys. So when we do that interview with Dr. Cole, it is only going to be on our Rumble channel. So Rumble is a newer alternative to YouTube. And so we try to put all our content wherever we possibly can and have time to do it. So the video with Dr. Cole will only be on Rumble. It will not be on our YouTube channel. And so if you're not on Rumble, be sure to get on our Rumble channel. I'll have to add that to the description for you guys so you have that. But yeah, you want to make sure that you have access to the Rumble. And I don't know if you have to subscribe to Rumble. I'm not really sure. But yeah, sorry, somebody had a comment in there. So make sure to check out that interview when you have an opportunity. I don't remember how long it was. It was probably 45 minutes, maybe longer. And we will move on to the next article. So there was a big case that went to the Idaho State Supreme Court. It was a lawsuit from a group called Reclaim Idaho that was trying to fight against the new ballot initiative law that got passed earlier this year and went into effect immediately. And so some of you guys may remember we talked a lot about this issue throughout the legislative session. SB 1110 was passed, and really what it changed was when you do a ballot initiative and you collect signatures, you have to have 6% under the old law before the new law was passed. You had to have 6% of registered voters, of voters at the last general election sign a petition from at least 18 legislative districts, and there are 35 legislative districts. Okay, so just over half that you had to have received signatures from. Okay, and when SB 1110 was passed, it then increased that number to all 35 legislative districts had to have that 6% margin. And so Reclaim Idaho sued when it went to the Idaho State Supreme Court, and they unanimously held on a 5-0 decision that it was unconstitutional, the SB 1110 was unconstitutional, and that the law would revert back to what it was prior to SB 1110 becoming law. Okay, and so that will change. So there's a number. Reclaim Idaho is doing one ballot initiative on education. I can't remember, Quality Education Act, I think, or something like that. I believe there's at least three. I don't know if they're still going, but at the time there was a group that was doing three marijuana initiatives, and there may be a minimum wage initiative too, but I don't remember exactly on that one. So we'll try to dig into the initiatives as time gets closer, and let you guys know what initiatives are out there, what they're for, and what they do. Another issue that has just come up, I'll be actually writing an article about this today, um, is the West Ada School District passed a requirement, and I know a lot of people had an issue with calling this a requirement, but it was a requirement that you had to wear a mask, but you could opt out. And so the West Ada School District, they just texted me or sent me an email a little bit ago, has about 41,000 students, and the last that they had told me was that 31% of those students have opted out. Okay, which is somewhere in the range of like 12,100 and some change. I can't remember exactly, but it's over 12,000. So 12,000 students out of 41,000 have opted out of the requirement to wear a mask at school. This has been a very big controversy in the West Ada School District, with some people saying there shouldn't be, you shouldn't even have to opt out. Some people saying you shouldn't be allowed to opt out, and some people being okay with the system here where you just opt out. And some people actually said you should have to opt in if you want to wear a mask. Then you opt in and wear a mask, I guess. And then some people just wanted the whole issue to not be addressed. So a lot of different opinions, and we asked our readers what they felt about it. Most seem to think that there shouldn't even be a masking option, um, or that you shouldn't have to opt out of doing it in the first place. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that and try to, keep up, give you guys some updated numbers. But that is the West Ada School District, which is in the Boise area. And then finally, the last article that we wanted to cover is the Idaho Press Corps won a lawsuit against Lieutenant Governor Janice McGeehan. And this all stems from the Idaho Education Task Force. And the Idaho Education Task Force was put together by Lieutenant Governor Janice McGeehan, and also Representative Priscilla Giddings is the co-chair of that. And they had asked for a feedback form, and a number of press outlets had asked for those forms, and I want to say the Idaho Reports, and I can't remember all of. There's four different people, or at least news, reporters that had asked for this information, and the information contained email addresses of private citizens and stuff, and so they were trying to get that information. Lieutenant Governor Janice McGeehan had denied it, or said that some things had to be done or fees had to be paid in order to move forward. And so that's when Idaho Press Corps filed a lawsuit on behalf of those news organizations to force the disclosure of those through public records requests. And so some people had asked me in the disclosure of the article, and just so everybody's aware, um, it was filed on behalf of the Idaho Press Corps. Okay, I am technically a member of the Idaho Press Corps. Most reporters are, but that wasn't like something anybody voted on. Just so you guys know, I found out in actually a news article, just like everybody else did, that was the intention, was to file on behalf. Um, and so there's no like voting on by the Idaho Press Corps, as far as I'm aware, on whether or not to move forward with something like that. And I actually reached out to the lady who runs it, so to speak, on the membership side, and asked her and verified, like, hey, was there something that went out that let us know that this was happening or anything like that? And there was no answer. Or she said that there was nothing put out to the rest of the news media about the intention to do that. Um, on the laws itself, so I know just from personal experience that there is a specific law that tells legislators, like if you guys do a public records request to your legislators and say that you want communication from them to citizens or citizens to them regarding some sort of specific issue, The Legislative Services Office is the ones that handle those, and they will redact the email addresses and other private information such as phone numbers and all that kind of stuff. They'll redact all of that, um, so that there's a specific law, I should say, that lets them redact that information. And so when this whole lawsuit came about, I tried to go in and find a specific statute that says the lieutenant governor or the governor or the SOS office or something can redact that information from those types of requests. And I couldn't find it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find the statute that said, hey, if there's this feedback form, here's the law that allows the lieutenant governor to, or the governor, whoever, to redact those. But there is one for state legislators. And so that was kind of an interesting. So behind the scenes, I have heard rumors that they want to change the law to make it similar to what happens with state legislative public records requests. So that's kind of the update on that situation, and we'll try to keep you guys informed on whether or not something else comes out of that. So, um, again, we appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been the 10th episode of the feedback, which is, or excuse me, the recap, which is just to give you guys an opportunity to ask some questions, maybe to get some additional information you may not get inside of the articles. Again, we have to at some point limit how much information is going in there, but we always try to get the good and important stuff. I hope you guys are willing to subscribe. If if having this type of news has been worth it to you, is it worth $3 a month? That's the baseline. We are working, by the way, on doing some sort of hard copy quarterly edition. We'd love to have some sort of hard copy quarterly edition we can send out to you guys to either some of the big stories that we've done or maybe some new content that wasn't in there. We would love that opportunity to send something like that out. We're also going to try and work on, for those who are in the higher tiered subscription, having a PDF of all of our articles sent to you weekly or bi-weekly or something like that, for you guys to have. So other than that, idahodispatch.com/subscribe. That's also in the description. And we'd love to have you guys as supporters and helping us continue to grow this thing. If you're an advertiser or you know somebody that wants to advertise, shoot us an email, info@idahodispatch.com, and you can advertise with Idaho Dispatch and help support our efforts. So again, the feedback has been tremendous. We have I can't say too much, but basically people in the news media world who have reached out to me and said, hey, what you guys are doing is awesome, and we're impressed that you're able to have this neutrality, and try to cover both sides fairly and equally and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's all I've got for today. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the recap. Take care.